Hello, in this video demonstration I'd like to show you how to replace the battery in the standard door window transmitter. This particular device is on a door. You may find them on windows as well. This model is a 60-362, originally manufactured by ITI and then purchased by a company called GE Interlogics. Now Interlogics is owned by UTC. And I'll zoom in on this sensor and show you first how to remove the cover off the transmitter. You'll find on most occasions the sensor can be taken apart simply with no tools and a hand. As the plastic does get aged, you will find it's a little stiffer, so I'll show you as well how to remove it with a screwdriver. A very small slotted screwdriver is adequate to do this. First off, you'll see on the very bottom side of the sensor there's a small protrusion coming out, and that's actually the base of the transmitter, and the cap fits over top and latches down into that little section right here. First, put your fingers on the top, perhaps just the middle finger and index finger, and then put a thumb right down below there above that extension and lift upwards. Squeezing upwards, you'll release that catch. You'll see as you get that off, then there's a small little hook or catch holding that transmitter in. And pivot it upward like this, and then lift it off like that. Now I'll go ahead and reassemble this and show you the same way using a screwdriver. You can see I have a small slotted screwdriver right here, and if I place that screwdriver right into this little gap, twist and lift, I can also remove that hook. That little plastic hook is right there, and then again twist and lift. You'll see the transmitter circuit board is right there. I can get even a closer look up it, and this is a model that was manufactured usually in the year right around 2000 up until about 2010 approximately, when they revised it to a different type of battery. Newer ones you'll see actually less components on the circuitry, replaced simply by integrated circuit chips. This is the battery right here. You will see a positive dimple right at the bottom on this one. Older models, you'll find the positive dimples on the outside of the transmitter or on this side. Very cautious when you reinstall the battery that you put the battery in the same way you took it out. I'm going to go ahead and lift it out just with a fingernail right under there and pull, and then the battery's out just like that. Though if I reinsert it, I want to make sure it pops back in there fully. And another way, if you don't have the good grip with your fingernail, use again the small slotted screwdriver, and you see I just put it in there right there and lift it upwards, and that gets me enough to grab that battery and pull it out. In a moment I'll show you on the desk another type of transmitter circuit board that's been revised as of recent. Has a different type of battery, and as well I'll show you a little more detail how to open that case cover. But again, here, putting the battery back in, snap it back down, put the cover back on. Now the side with, there's a slot on this one end. Start with that end, hook it in, pivot it down and latch it in place. Okay, now that we're back here on the desk, I have three sensors lined up. I'm going to show you first, this model looks very much like the other ones, but it's just a bit longer. It's actually a shock sensor. You'll find on the bottom side of it, if I lift it up, this device, this circular device here, is a shock transducer, as it's called, made by Litton. It's the device in there that detects vibration or impact to a door or window that it's installed on. This next one is a newer type of transmitter. I'll show you how to open the cover. First off, by squeezing in here and lifting up. And you'll see this device actually has a newer type of battery. It's a battery that you can obtain at most of your department stores, Walgreens, CVS, perhaps Walmart, Kmart. And then this next one over here is an older transmitter. Looks very much the same. You squeeze in right above the small lip right here with your thumb, lift up, and then you find this one has a different type of battery. So in either version of these, it's important that you put the positive end in the same way that you took out the old battery. If you put a battery in incorrectly, you could cause damage to the sensor, but usually at the worst the battery will die out and drain out very quickly. On this particular one, you see I can just lift the battery out like this, pop it loose at the positive end first, and then lift it upwards. This one does have on the battery holder a little plus mark embossed in the plastic, so look for that if you lose track of which one is the positive end. Your battery's positive end is always the side with this little dimple. So when I reinsert that battery, start a little bit with the negative side and then flip it down and make sure it snaps all the way down in there. On these covers, it's important that you note when you put them back on, there's a slot at this end, and you want to make sure that's the first point of contact, and you slide it over and around the little slot right here, and that will allow you then to get that cover closed without damaging it. Again, on this one's the brown color transmitter. They're really the same other than color. You just pull that battery out, starting with perhaps the positive end, and lift it out. On this one, you'll actually see down in the circuit board, the plus mark is printed on the circuit board right in there. And I'll get a little bit closer so you can see exactly what I'm referring to. And right there's your positive mark. On this one, there is also a plus mark embossed in the white plastic right there. Both of these types of transmitters, even this shock sensor as well, has a tamper switch. You see this little switch that's right here, and if the case cover is removed, that causes a tamper on your system. If you find you go back and you've got all the batteries installed, the cover back on, and it still says tamper, there's a good chance that the battery got put in incorrectly, so the sensor's not getting power to send a restoral signal. So I'll go ahead and reinsert this battery, start with the negative end first, and then pivot it down and snap it back into place. And again, start with the end with the small slot on the case cover, slide that over and around that little tab, and then when you get down to here, you'll see the latch right there. Just snap it back down into place, and then you're set.